I know I am extremely late to the party, but better late than never, I suppose. Right now, actually, let me check my system clock. So I'm recording this in real time. We are the 30th, and I'm hoping to get this video out by tomorrow, so I just gotta cross my fingers, hope that all this gets finished. If not, I'll probably bring it out Monday or maybe next week, I don't know. But my god, MultiVersus is everywhere right now. It's basically Smash Brothers, but with 100 years of historic Warner Brothers characters. We all know what Smash Bros. Is. I really don't need to explain it. I mean, the footage speaks for itself. And the game was developed by Player First Games, and as far as I'm aware, this is their only title. So they literally just came out of nowhere and announced this game with stuff that the first Nick All-Stars didn't have at launch, like fully voiced fighters. Because yeah, the announcement for that game came out shortly after the launch of Nick All-Stars Brawl, so that part might have come back to bite them in the ass thanks to the very sudden passing of Kevin Conroy, the iconic voice of the Caped Crusader himself. Now, I don't know how many lines he recorded for this game, but I'm glad we actually get to hear him in something that isn't just a gaming war crime in the making. I was actually very intrigued by this game when it was first announced, so much so that I actually got to play the beta, and I remember it being fine. Nothing special, but fine. Coming off of Rivals and Smash Brothers, the battle speed was something that you really needed to get used to. It was possibly slower than Brawl, which, that's saying something. It also had a bigger emphasis on teamwork with a focus on 2v2s, which, alright, great way to give the game some identity instead of just yet another Smash clone, which is fine. They even added a few more characters from the beta, like Gizmo from the Gremlins and Black Adam, and they probably regretted that last one. Then it just went completely dark for a year, and there was absolutely nothing about this game, not a peep. And then afterwards, the game relaunched, and oh boy. Just like the beta, it's a live service game, and even during that beta period, I was still super worried. It contains a cosmetic store, a cosmetic battle pass, and premium currency. Where have I heard that before? Look, you guys know how much I hate microtransactions, especially in games that cost money up front, looking at you, Tekken. But for this game specifically, I'm gonna let it slide. For one, it's free to play, duh. And second, everything's actually affordable. That kinda shocked me. As for the roster, they got a decent pick so far, and you can use everyone locally, but if you want to play them online, you have to make sure the fighter you want to play as is in the rotation, or use one of two currencies to buy them. One can be obtained by playing, and the other is the premium stuff. And like I said earlier, the roster itself is really impressive. We've got fighters that were introduced in the beta, like Bugs, Batman, Finn, Superman, Iron Giant, Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. Yeah. And LeBron James, who isn't actually voiced by him, like what the fuck? The relaunch also introduced more fighters, like the Clown Prince of Crime himself, Joker, who is still voiced by Mark Hamill, goddamn, Jason Voorhees, and the fighter that threw me for a loop when I first saw him, Agent Smith from The Matrix. His method of unlock for beta players is a bit of a pain in the ass though, so I'm just gonna wait 2 weeks, thank you. Also, can we talk about Jason for a sec here? Dude's fucking built like Kingpin.
It was never about the killing. It's about the match, baby. The match, let's go match. Hit a home run, I love the match. Let's go match, let's go.
As for the gameplay, complaints were up the wazoo online, and Jesus Christ, it was crazy. The balancing got a little tune-up since the beta, but it's far from perfect, clearly. The battle speed, I don't think changed, but then again, I haven't really played the game since then, so... But that right there is probably what rubbed a lot of players the wrong way, especially because muscle memory messed with me and probably a lot of others very hard. If their idea was to have a casual experience, then I think they succeeded. But if they wanted it to be a competitive esport, because every game needs to be a competitive esport these days, then I don't think they did a good job at it, because the insane amount of input delay to every attack makes every crazy combo that happens feel like a freak accident. It almost reminds me of Smash 64's competitive scene, where one mistake can lead to your downfall. Not to mention the knockback and hit stun is quite literally insane. Now, since the game is primarily online, you definitely need an online infrastructure that is pretty solid. And you know what? The netcode is pretty solid. I mean, sure, there were a few problems, but it's still pretty good. It just needs a little bit more fine-tuning, that's all. I didn't have any issues with it in case you're curious, so there's tons of other stuff that I neglected to mention because I really do want you to find out for yourself. You're able to quite literally fine-tune your experience, so if the default control scheme is a little whack, to which I say yes it is, you can immediately change it, so no harm no foul. You can even change the way HUD elements work too, and that is something that I absolutely love. For a live service title, this is actually really fun. However, I'm just worried that the potential for this game might get squandered. Now, I'm not worried about the developers doing that. No. They're truly passionate and want to create something that'll last a lifetime. And by God, I hope they continue to do that and keep listening to the community. I'm more worried about Warner Brothers, especially given their track record as of late. I honestly just don't want them to pull a Sony with Helldivers 2 and try to kill the game overnight, because it's doing really well right now with the relaunch bringing in so many new players. And it's clear Player First Games is playing the long game with this one, and I just hope Warner Brothers won't kill it for the sake of a tax write-off, like they did with so many other projects previously. This video has the high chance of being super outdated so quickly, so I might rewatch this video in maybe a couple years' time, and we'll see what happens from there. If someone from Player First Games is watching this, hi, keep up the good work. But if someone from Warner Brothers is watching this, release Coyote vs. Acme, you cowards.